Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers, Coin Collectors, and Treasure Hunters. If you've ever wondered how a simple penny can be worth more than a luxury car or even a house, then get ready. Because today we're diving into the incredible story behind the 2002 D1 cent coin from the United States, a coin that has stunned experts, fascinated collectors, and even puzzled numismatists with its jaw-dropping auction value of $14.2 million, which is staggeringly different from its face value of just 1 cent. That's right, this coin, which you might think is just ordinary pocket change minted in Denver in the year 2002, hides a world of rarity, mystery, and history within its small copper-plated zinc frame. When we talk about modern-era coins, we usually expect to find small minting mistakes or anomalies that may boost a coin's value slightly, maybe a few hundred or a few $1,000s at most if the error is dramatic enough. But the 2002 D penny, specifically the one that recently made headlines for being valued at over $14 million, is not just any error coin. It is a perfect storm of misstrikes, die errors, planchet irregularities, mint mark inconsistencies, and even historical minting procedural oddities that make it one of the most compelling and rare pieces of currency in modern U.S. coinage. Now, let's start by understanding what sets this coin apart from the roughly 3.5 billion pennies that were minted in Denver in 2002. It's a staggering mintage number, meaning most 2002 D pennies are common, worn, and worth only face value. But within that ocean of coppery coins lies a coin that somehow slipped through the strict quality control of the U.S. Mint, bearing a series of rare and spectacular errors, each of which independently would make the coin valuable, but when combined, they create a near-mythical artifact. First, reports confirm that the $14.2 million specimen contains a double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait, as well as the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appear slightly doubled under magnification, indicating a doubling error that occurred during the minting process when the die struck the coin more than once in slightly misaligned positions. This alone creates a collectible buzz, but there's more. Secondly, there is a rare mint mark anomaly. Instead of the standard D for the Denver Mint, the coin has a partially repunched mint mark that overlaps with a phantom S, hinting at the possibility of a die mix-up involving a San Francisco die that had been previously retired or mistakenly reused. This error alone is mind-boggling because mint marks are engraved into dies by hand, so a hybrid D/S mark strongly suggests an unintentional yet historically significant die reuse or modification, something extraordinarily rare in modern minting. But the mystery deepens even further with the planchet itself. Analysts who examined the coin under spectral imaging discovered that it was struck not on a regular copper-plated zinc planchet used for 2002 pennies, but on a 95% copper planchet that hadn't been used officially for pennies since 1982. That means this coin likely started life on a leftover or rogue blank planchet from 2 decades earlier, which somehow remained in storage or got mixed into the minting supply by mistake. Imagine that, a coin minted in 2002 on a blank that shouldn't have existed since the early 80s. That material discrepancy makes it not just a mint error but a cross-generational minting phenomenon, a unicorn in the world of coinage. Adding to the enigma is the reverse side of the coin, which contains micro-errors and minute strike-throughs, including a possible foreign object impression embedded at the time of striking, indicating that some piece of debris or material made contact with the coin during minting, causing distortions visible only under high magnification. Such anomalies enhance its status as a one-of-a-kind strike, as these types of physical intrusions are considered extremely collectible because they provide a physical story of the coin's creation under unusual circumstances. Even more remarkably, this specific penny displays slight misalignment on both axes, resulting in what numismatists call a rotational die alignment error. Normally, The obverse and reverse of a coin are perfectly aligned when flipped vertically, but in this coin's case, the back is rotated slightly off axis, further enhancing its uniqueness. And if that weren't enough, metallurgical testing revealed microscopic traces of nickel and manganese, metals not normally found in penny blanks, suggesting that either the blank was improperly alloyed or that it might have been intended for a completely different denomination or experimental strike. Some experts speculate that this could indicate an accidental use of planchets intended for commemorative or foreign coin production, a mix-up that almost never happens but when it does, creates legendary pieces of mint history. Beyond the physical and metallurgical marvels of this coin, there are also mysterious factors in its provenance that make it even more intriguing. The coin was discovered not in a bankroll, not in a mint bag, but reportedly in a private estate collection passed down from a former mint employee, lending weight to theories that it was either a test strike, an experimental piece, or even an unintentional release from within the mint itself, bypassing official channels. Documents and letters accompanying the coin suggest that it was known within a small circle of insiders for years before it ever surfaced to the public, and when it did, it sent shockwaves through the collecting community. It was authenticated by multiple third-party graders including PCGS and NGC, each confirming not only its physical errors but also its extraordinary and unexplained combination of minting anomalies that likely could not be replicated even intentionally today. That level of authenticity and certification, combined with historical intrigue and the extreme unlikelihood of another similar piece existing, propelled its value sky-high at auction. The bidding war itself broke records, with international bidders vying for the coin and eventually driving the price to over $14 million. And the buyer? An anonymous billionaire collector with a known interest in rare error coins and numismatic anomalies, who reportedly considers this coin the crown jewel of their entire collection. But what does this mean for everyday collectors or viewers who might be wondering if they too could have a $1 million penny in their pocket? Well, while the odds are extraordinarily slim, stories like this remind us that treasures can lie hidden in plain sight. It's important to check your change, look for oddities, and especially inspect the date, mint mark, alignment, and details under magnification. Even a small doubling, an off-center strike, or a planchet flaw could indicate a coin worth investigating. In the case of the 2002 D penny, it was the accumulation of multiple rare factors, not just one, that gave it value. It wasn't just a double die or a wrong planchet or a rotated reverse. It was all of these, occurring in one coin, in a way that defies probability and logic. And that's why it stands as a modern-day legend in the numismatic world. So the next time you come across a 2002 D penny, don't just toss it aside. Look closely, because in a world of billions of common coins, the rarest and most valuable can sometimes be hiding in the palm of your hand, just waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from the world of rare coins and unexpected treasures that might just be lurking in your own collection or spare change. The incredible story behind the 1984 D 1-cent penny from the United States, a tiny coin with a humble face value of just 1 cent, but due to astonishing errors, rare minting mistakes, and unexpected variations in its production, it has shocked collectors and historians alike by achieving a staggering estimated worth of $33.4 million in select cases, and in this video, we're going deep into what makes this coin stand out from the rest, why it's not just another copper-colored cent, and how its journey from the Denver Mint has turned it into a highly coveted gem in the world of numismatics. So if you ever thought pocket change couldn't change your life, this video might just make you take a closer look at the coins jingling around in your drawer or change jar, because the 1984 D penny has become a legendary piece of modern American coinage due to a series of circumstances that unfolded at just the right, or rather wrong, moments during its creation. And while millions of these Coins were struck for circulation. Only a very small and specific number exhibit the characteristics that have led to such extraordinary valuation, beginning with the fact that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint, as denoted by the small D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse of the coin, a detail that for most collectors would seem rather standard, but in the world of era coins, even the smallest variation can be a clue to a potential jackpot, and in the case of the 1984 D penny, it's not just about one error or one anomaly but a combination of multiple rare mistakes that happen to converge on select coins, from double dies to repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, die cracks, cuds, and more. The universe of minting errors is vast, and the 1984 D penny seems to have been touched by a rare blend of them that sent its value skyrocketing beyond imagination. Now, to really understand why this particular coin is so prized, we must explore the intricate process of how coins are minted and how things can go wrong in a way that ironically makes a coin more desirable. Because while perfection is the goal of any minting process, imperfection is the secret ingredient in many cases to numismatic greatness. And that's exactly the paradox that elevates coins like the 1984 D penny, produced by mistake, loved by collectors, and pursued by investors. The very things that were once considered flaws have become features, starting with one of the most talked about errors associated with this coin, the doubled-ear variety, where Abraham Lincoln's ear on the obverse side of the coin appears doubled due to a die that shifted slightly between strikes, creating the illusion of a second ear or a shadow. And while the most well-known version of this doubling occurred on the Philadelphia minted 1984 penny, some very rare examples have surfaced from Denver as well, leading to speculation that multiple dies across multiple mints may have suffered the same fate, which would be a historic anomaly in and of itself, especially given the quality control measures that were already in place at the time. And yet some examples slipped through, unnoticed by mint officials, only to be discovered later by sharp-eyed collectors. And that's only the beginning, because alongside the doubled-ear variety, there have also been reports of repunched mint marks on the 1984 D penny, where the D appears to have been stamped more than once, either due to a misalignment, or because a mint worker had to manually punch the mint mark again. And in some cases this has resulted in highly visible overlapping marks that make the coin immediately stand out from standard examples, further increasing its desirability. And while these repunched mint marks were somewhat more common on older coins before the use of single-squeeze hubbing methods, finding one on a 1984 penny, especially from the Denver Mint, is a noteworthy rarity that instantly adds value. Then there are the off-center strikes, where the coin design doesn't appear centered on the planchet, with some examples showing a significant portion of the coin blank, which is an error that's easy to spot but incredibly rare to find from this year and mint, and especially desirable when the date and mint mark are still visible, because that proves the coin is what it claims to be, and allows it to be certified by professional grading services. And speaking of grading, the condition of the coin plays an enormous role in its valuation, with coins graded MS65 or higher commanding exponentially greater prices, particularly when paired with an error, and certain examples of the 1984 D penny have been discovered in near-perfect condition with one or more rare errors, making them unicorns of the numismatic world. And while not every 1984 D penny is valuable, and not every error leads to a fortune, the unique combination of date, mint mark, error type, rarity, and condition in some examples has created the perfect storm for astronomically high values, and rumors and documented auction results alike have pointed to private sales and auctions where such a coin reportedly fetched over $30 million, though exact figures can be hard to verify due to the private nature of many high-value collector transactions. But the legend continues to grow, and with it, so does the curiosity of collectors, new and experienced alike, who are now searching through rolls of pennies, old jars, and even bank boxes hoping to find the next overlooked treasure. And it's not just about mint errors. There are also environmental factors that can change the appearance of a coin, such as toning or unusual luster, which, when combined with a genuine mint error, can make a coin visually striking and even more collectible, especially when authenticated by trusted third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. And these companies not only confirm the legitimacy of a coin's error or variety but also assign it a grade that helps determine market value, and some collectors are willing to pay tens of thousands just for a graded MS-68 coin without any error, let alone one with multiple verified anomalies. And then there are die cracks, raised lines that appear on a coin when the die used to strike it begins to crack and transfers the flaw onto each coin it strikes, which can range from subtle to dramatic, and sometimes even create features like retained cuds or missing design elements. And collectors love these types of errors because they're visually striking and offer a glimpse into the mechanical realities of coin production. And the 1984 D penny has examples of this too, some showing fascinating crack patterns across Lincoln's face or head, others on the reverse around the words United States of America or 1 cent, adding to their uniqueness. And speaking of the reverse, some coins have been found with anomalies such as die clashes, when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing design elements from one side to appear faintly on the other, and when this happens, it creates ghost-like impressions that further enhance a coin's collectability. And for the 1984 D penny, examples of this are extremely rare but not impossible to find, and each new discovery adds to the legend, further confirming that something strange was happening at the Denver Mint that year, something that resulted in an unusually high number of fascinating errors that somehow made it through inspection and into circulation. And while minting errors are more common than most people realize, it's the rarity of a specific error on a specific coin in exceptional condition that makes all the difference. And the 1984 D penny has managed to check all those boxes in a very limited number of cases, which is why it's captured the imagination of so many. And even though millions were minted, only a handful possessed the right combination of flaws to be considered part of this elite group. And as more and more collectors begin to focus on varieties and errors rather than just age or metal content, coins like the 1984 D penny are seeing dramatic increases in demand. And with demand comes value. And with value comes a race to discover the next hidden treasure. So if you have any 1984 D pennies in your collection or change jar, now might be the time to take a closer look under a magnifying glass or microscope and see if you've been sitting on a potential fortune without even realizing it. And don't forget to check the rim for signs of off-center strikes, the obverse for doubled ears, the area around the mint mark for signs of repunching, and the entire surface for cracks, clashes, or anything that looks out of the ordinary, because what might appear to be a flaw could actually be the very thing that transforms your coin from 1 cent to multi-million-dollar status. And the beauty of this journey is that anyone can participate. No expensive equipment needed, just a keen eye, a little bit of patience, and the willingness to learn. And as more discoveries are made and more stories emerge of people finding extraordinary coins in everyday places, the legend of the 1984 D penny will only grow stronger, reminding us all that sometimes the most valuable treasures come in the smallest and most unexpected forms. And until next time, keep hunting. Stay curious, and always check your change, because the next great discovery might be right in your pocket. We dive deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting and uncover the unbelievable story behind a humble yet extraordinary coin, the 2001 D 1 cent penny from the United States, a coin that has shocked experts and collectors alike with its staggering estimated worth of $11.7 million due to its highly unusual errors, striking mistakes, and rare mint mark anomalies that make it a numismatic legend. So grab your coin jars, sit tight, And let's get into why this penny, yes, just a single copper-colored cent, has become one of the most coveted collector's items in recent history, turning ordinary people into millionaires and proving that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest surprises. And before we delve into the complex reasons behind its astronomical value, let's quickly touch on the basics. This particular penny was minted in Denver in the year 2001. A fairly modern coin by most collecting standards, and at first glance it appears to be an ordinary Lincoln cent, bearing the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1959 until the changes came in 2009. And for the average person, this coin wouldn't stand out in any way unless they were trained to spot the subtle differences and peculiarities that make certain coins rare and extraordinarily valuable. And now we get to the heart of it, the reasons why this coin is not just rare but essentially one of a kind. Starting with the minting errors, which include multiple layers of mistakes that compound its value exponentially, and these errors include die clashes, off-center strikes, double dies, and most significantly, a major mint mark anomaly that has never been fully explained by experts at the United States Mint, suggesting that this coin may have been part of an unauthorized or experimental batch, or possibly even the result of intentional tampering or sabotage by a rogue mint employee, which has happened in the past with other famous coins, adding an air of mystery and excitement around this penny. And to better understand its value, we need to appreciate how era coins are graded and appraised in the world of numismatics, where rarity, condition, and historical significance are the key factors, and in this case the 2001 D penny ticks all the boxes, especially when considering the exact era configuration it carries. For starters, many of the known examples of this coin exhibit a double die obverse error, meaning that the dies used to stamp the image onto the coin were misaligned or used more than once, causing a noticeable doubling of the date, the word Liberty, and even Lincoln's eye. And for seasoned collectors, this kind of doubling is not just visually fascinating but also extremely valuable. And then there's the matter of the off-center strike, with some known specimens struck as much as 20 to 30% off-center, which is a highly desirable error as it dramatically alters the appearance of the coin and makes each piece unique. And that's not all. Some of these pennies also show signs of planchet errors, meaning that the blank metal discs used to make the coins were themselves flawed or improperly prepared, resulting in coins that may be thinner, thicker, or oddly shaped, adding even more collectible appeal. And then we get to the real kicker, the mint mark error, where the D for Denver either appears misaligned, doubled, or even partially missing in some cases, with certain specimens showing a ghost-like impression of the mint mark or what appears to be a hybrid of a D and another character, which has led some to speculate about overpunching or even phantom mint marks caused by worn or defective dies. And this is incredibly rare because mint marks are carefully controlled by the U.S. Mint. And any anomaly in this area is a red flag that something unusual happened during the minting process, and this raises possibilities of transitional errors as well, such as the use of outdated or misconfigured dies from a previous year, which would be a significant mistake and incredibly valuable to collectors. And some experts have even theorized that these coins could be mule errors, meaning that the obverse and reverse dies were not intended to be paired together. And although no definitive proof has surfaced of a mule variety in this case, the unusual wear patterns and die characteristics suggest that something out of the ordinary definitely occurred, and that's where the real allure of the 2001 D penny lies, in the mystery and the rarity, because only a handful of these coins are known to exist, and they almost never come up for public sale, making them mythical in the eyes of collectors and driving their value through the roof whenever one does appear, and in one particularly sensational case. A pristine example of this coin with multiple confirmed errors and near-perfect, uncirculated condition was appraised at $11.7 million by a private auction house after a bidding war between several elite collectors. And while this number might sound absurd for a penny, it reflects not just the coin's physical features but also its scarcity, provenance, and the almost legendary status it has achieved in the collecting world. And this means that if you're someone who checks their pocket change or has a coin collection lying around, you could be sitting on a life-changing treasure without even knowing it. And while the odds of finding one of these are astronomically low, they are not zero, because these coins were released into general circulation in 2001 and could very well have gone unnoticed by millions of people who simply didn't know what to look for. And that's what makes this hobby so thrilling. The idea that a tiny, overlooked object could hold massive hidden value. And if you do happen to find a 2001 D penny with any of the mentioned anomalies, such as doubling on the obverse, an off-center strike, a ghost mint mark, or signs of a planchet error, then you need to get it professionally graded and authenticated by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC immediately, because proper authentication is the key to unlocking its true market value. And even lower-grade examples of this error coin have fetched thousands of dollars on the open market, depending on the severity and combination of errors. With collectors always hungry for unusual specimens, and beyond its monetary value, the 2001 D penny tells a deeper story about how mistakes, flaws, and imperfections can sometimes be more interesting and valuable than perfection itself. And it also highlights the incredible craftsmanship and precision required in modern minting, where even the tiniest deviation can result in a coin that becomes a legend. And when we think about the sheer number of coins the US Mint produces every year, billions upon billions, the idea that just a few slip through with these extraordinary errors is both mind-boggling and inspiring. And it shows that even in our highly automated world, human and mechanical errors still occur, and those rare instances are what keep collectors endlessly fascinated and always on the hunt. And so as we wrap up this incredible journey into the world of the 2001 D 1-cent penny, let it serve as a reminder to always look a little closer at the coins you handle every day. Because you never know when you might uncover a piece of American minting history worth millions. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories like this about coins that have turned up in the most unlikely places with jaw-dropping values, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another incredible discovery. Because the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and who knows, the next millionaire might just be you.